Welcome, everyone joining us. Happy to see you all join us here today. Welcome. So I'd like us to do something as we're joining. Kindly tell us your name, your location, where you're joining us from, and one thing that has made you smile today. So tell us your name, your location, and one thing that has made you smile today. Keep those messages coming. Welcome. Yeah. All right. I'll just go quickly to the chat and see who is joining us. Mitchell. Uh, Just share your name, your location, and where you're joining us from. Sasha, you're joining us from Amsterdam, and you just opened a bottle of Chinoto. Nice. Well, for me, I just got back from picking my daughter from school, and there's this ritual we always have. She always wants to swing every time I get her back from school. But for like 2 days now, she has not been able to swing because of the rains. But today it's pretty sunny, and she was able to get to swing. And she was so excited. So that's one thing that has made me smile today. So I'm curious to see what has made you smile today too. So tell us your name, your location, and one thing that has made you smile today. So Alima, you're joining us from Brighton, and soaking wet dog coming back from a walk in the rain. Yeah. Uh that's the dog getting excited. Kristen joining us from the US. Your sweet pear vines massively entangled with weeds. Nice. Nadia joining us from Boston and cuddling with your dog. All those warmth from our pets. Uh, Felipe in Argentina, and today in Tenerife, Canary Island. Okay, what made you smile, Felipe? I would like to know. Uh, Share your name, your location, and one thing that has made you smile, please. Nicole, you're joining us from Cape Town, yeah, and have a shared frustration of navigating meta. Keep them coming, keep them coming. Kim, you're joining us from Southern California, and you're smiling at your sweet cat. Okay. We have lots of cats. I would like to see them in the background. So I would like to welcome you. Feel comfortable. You can turn on your videos, no matter how messy your background is. If you have your pets running around or your kids running around, that's what this space is about. Feel very comfortable. You can turn on your videos, unblur your backgrounds, and just be yourself. Welcome everyone. While we still see those messages, I would like us to run through the messages. Are you seeing someone in your location, or did someone share something that made them smile that you kind of resonate with? Feel very free to drop a comment. Feel very free to say hi to them. Are you noticing anyone in your region? Are you noticing anyone in your location? Did someone say something about what made them smile that you resonate with? Feel free to react to it. Feel free to comment. Welcome everyone. Welcome everyone. Good to see the smiles. For those of you who have your videos on, my name is Naka with the Fito Network, and I'm going to share my screen now, and we'll dive straight into the business of the day. I have here with me Marco and Alicia, who I'll be handing uh, over the proceedings to in a bit to take us further. Marco and Alicia, you could just wave. Welcome everyone. Okay, keep those messages coming, please. All right. So the Networks Festival is our yearly ritual in Fito Network, where we get to gather network weavers, network practitioners, change makers, all in a single room to experiment, practice, play together, and gather around very interesting topics in networks. And for those of you joining us for the first time, welcome. And for those of you that are regular here, this would not be strange to you. And of course, like Susan Davis would always say, if you want to change the world, you throw a better party. So this is Fito's way of making that change, of bringing network weavers, network practitioners, change makers together yearly to brainstorm, to think, to play, to experiment, and of course, at the center of that, build very healthy connections. And so we invite you to connect, we invite you to imagine and just rewire your thinking around how change actually happens. And so for some of our principles that I would just like to share with you is that we give much attention to share their stories. Feel very free, relaxed to share your stories whenever you're prompted. Embrace your failures, because from your failures that you make successes, and then show up just as you are, like I said earlier. And so for this year, we do a little tweak to how we do our festivals for this year. And so we centered our thoughts around 6 tracks. Uh, One in network tech, one is in mapping, the other is in impact, collective organizing, equitable collaborations, and healing-centered leadership. We have quite interesting sessions. As you can see in chat, Marco will be sharing that in a bit. We have very interesting sessions for you, and I would like you to sign up for anyone that you resonate with or anyone that you feel drawn or attracted to. And so, uh, thank you all. I would quickly hand us over now to all when we get back. Thank you. Over to you, Marco.
Yes, hello everyone. My name is Marco and I'm a facilitator from Common Ground Collective. Thanks Naka for the presentation and for all this work, and yeah, thanks all of you. I was also smiling just reading your messages. So we'll start shortly, but as usual, I like to just give a little moment of attention to the body, especially in these virtual spaces. Yeah, maybe you wanna just look away from the screen for a second. Take a deeper breath or a juicy, nice stretch that feels good. And maybe you notice a little need for water or for anything else that you might not have in your space, or to fix your table. My table is usually quite messy when I join a session. Maybe I join last minute and then it's a bit messy and I feel chaotic. And just one moment to attend to what, yeah, feels good and what you need right now so that we can start. And the invitation is to just take a moment to connect to why you're here. So before we start with the session, just connect to what brings you here, to this specific question. Maybe it's a challenge you're facing or just a curiosity in your organizing. And yeah, feel free to write it down in the chat if you want, but otherwise it can just be for you to ground it in why did you show up to this specific session today? Maybe the answer is very clear, maybe it's not. This is just for you. Yeah. see effective participation and collaboration. Reflection maybe around leadership. Who makes decision on what? A bit more clarity on that. Yeah, someone diving into creation of a community, maybe needing some support around different bits. Distributed governance. Yes, yes. And just to come and learn from others. And maybe another few seconds. So as you noticed, today were a lot of people, around 55. I'm sure more will come in. So the chat in the plenary is going to be one of the major way to interact with each other. And then we're going to have some different bits and personal exercises and some breakouts. But for now, maybe as more questions drop in the chat, I can start sharing my screen and start presenting this session when everybody leads, designing roles and decision-making for collective work. So as I said, my name is Marco Minoni and I'm here with Alicia Trepat that is gonna help us with tech today. And when everybody leads, so why this name? So we are a collective that works a lot with leadership and with shared leadership. And in particular, we wanna also reconceptualize leadership, not as top-down, surprise, surprise, but as something that everybody can engage in and as something that helps a group moving towards their purpose. So in that kind of way of looking at it, leadership is, yeah, literally any action that moves in that regard. And roles and decision-making, we believe they are like very, very important component of, yeah, helping a group move towards their purpose. So this is why we decided to offer this specific session today. So the intention, I like to start with intention and desired outcome so that we ground a little bit into, yeah, what is actually that we're gonna do. So we're gonna have two parts. The first part is gonna be on roles, autonomy, and how it relates to collaboration. So we're gonna explore how roles increase sense of autonomy for people, motivation, and how they support the collaboration in a team. And hopefully you leave with a very clear and practical understanding on how to design a role for your group. Then the second part is going to be on decision-making and connected to group dynamics. So exploring what elements of decision-making as a practice influence participation and collaboration. And hopefully, again, you will leave with some tools, some methods on how to facilitate decision-making and how to make collaboration healthy within your group. So I have a couple of invitations for us for today. And the first one is being aware that this is experiential learning. So we're going to do a couple of practices. Some things might be really fun. Some things might be a little uncomfortable, and it's all good. Whenever we do an exercise, it's not meant to feel good. We're not trying to make something happen. We're just curious to see what emerges. And then we discuss about it and we try to learn from our experience. With this, also a little warning that it's a short session and we thought of giving a few little inputs that then you can take and you can reflect further. So we're not gonna come out with like, yeah, there might be still some things to reflect on and to process. And the second invitation is to participate at the best of your abilities in this moment, whatever that might mean for you. And in the breakouts, if you feel like if no one shows up or if the person that you're with in the breakout is silent for whatever reason, just an invitation for you to do the exercise by yourself, by reflecting and maybe journaling on your own. Yes, so that's it. And we're gonna start, as you can see, and my pace is gonna be a bit snappy and dynamic. We're gonna start with an exercise. And it's a drawing exercise. And since we're a lot, I'm gonna ask for 8 volunteers that are gonna practice the exercise. Everybody is gonna witness and everybody is gonna, yeah, like reflect with us, kind of. But my question is there anyone here that is okay being pinned in the main screen? That is okay with doing the little drawing exercises and sharing some reflection afterwards and is on their laptop? So it's not gonna be a super deep, difficult exercise, but more like, yeah, like a fun little start. I see people start to raise their hand. Indeed, if you're okay, please raise your virtual hand. And Alicia here will pin you in the, thank you for all the volunteers. So we're gonna take a moment to finalize. We might need another couple of people. Let me know, Alicia, if everything is okay. There we go. Then I think we need another couple of people. Thank you for the brave one that are stepping up, and of course, good to whomever cannot. If we don't have 8, that's also fine. We're just gonna have a couple less people. I put myself as well in the exercise. Why not? And Alicia, feel I see Christine like helping us up. So then I start. Let's start. You know what? Let's start. I share my whiteboard. So we're gonna work with the whiteboard. And these are the instruction for the people that are pinned in the screen. So we're gonna draw a collective tree. But for this, we are gonna have some specific roles. If you see, there is some roles in the chat, and I invite the people that stepped up to. You should be seeing my whiteboard. If the people that are pinned don't see it, please let me know. On the left hand, you see a pen. You can click on pen, you can change the colors, and we can start drawing. So we're gonna have 3-4 minutes to start drawing this tree. From now on, the people that are drawing are free. Is there any question from Christine, Sen, Tash, and Zev? Do you have any question? No? Then Alicia, maybe you can play some little music and we can start drawing and seeing what happens. And if anyone else wants to step and also draw something, you can drop in the chat and I can give you a task.
I cannot play the music because you're sharing your whiteboard. So it's okay. We do it in silence or you share something. That's okay. A meditative drawing.
Okay. And I put a couple of invitations. If there is anyone that wants to also start drawing, please feel free to draw some roots, some clouds. See a thumbs up. And maybe, start noticing what makes you want to join in or not join in. See the trees growing. Another few seconds to complete this drawing. Last 20 seconds. See some invitation from Christine. And we stop in 3, 2, 1. And that's it. Thank you, thank you. Let's give it up for the people drawing. So another invitation now. Now you're free. There is no rules. There is no roles. You can even coordinate if you want. And yeah, we're still focusing on the people that we're drawing. If you want to join in, explicitly say it in the chat, maybe. Don't start just adding and drawing for the first part, at least. But now you're completely free. We're still drawing a tree. Sorry, we're still drawing a tree. So free within certain boundaries. We have Marlon that is joining. Please, now you can do the whatever tree you want and you're free to go. For those drawing, for those not drawing, start seeing if there is any difference in how you feel, in what you sense. I see someone else taking autonomy. We have 1 more minute left, roughly. Few more seconds. Yeah. And slowly wrap it up. And for everybody, again, put some attention over, what thoughts are present, what feelings might be present or not, what sensations. And just take a moment, especially for the ones drawing. See the difference of the first and the second one for you. What was the difference? What did you like? What did you not like about each round? And we would love to hear from you in a second. But first, we look at the 2 creation. We see the one here on the left, this tree over here, and the one here on the right. And let's give it up to the people that did the drawing. You can unpin if you want, but definitely would love to hear from Tasha, Zev, Sen, or Christine a few words over the 2 different rounds. What did you like in one? What did you not like in the other? Please Anyone that wants to share? Yes, Tasha, please.
I just noticed that it took a lot more communication for the second one versus the first one when we all knew what we were working on in advance, right? When we were told the grounds, that was, I don't know, didn't require much communication with the other people who were drawing.
Sure, thanks. Sen.
I saw that in the first one, I was really looking to the others. So I was waiting for the ground to come up before I started my branch. It didn't make sense for me to start the branch without the trunk. And there was a lot more attention being paid to what was going on in the hole. And in the second one, it was really free for all. It was just like, I have an idea, I'm gonna make it happen. I don't know what else is going on.
There was not so much discussion on how you would collaborate. Christine?
Well, it's funny about that people were waiting. I just like didn't even see what other people's assignments were. I was like trunk, trunk, trunk. And so I just remember thinking like, oh, I've kind of used this tool before, so that's gonna be okay. But I just was like, yeah, I just jumped in and didn't pay attention to anybody else's assignment. So it was good in the second one to just start to see a totally different type of tree emerge. And then I was like, I had an association with Christmas tree. And then as I started drawing things, I thought, oh, maybe that's going to be offensive because not everybody would celebrate Christmas. So then I tried to like make it look like berries. So.
Nice thought. So yeah, thank you all. I see Zev already said something. Ava, yes, please, last person, and then we do a little breakout actually. Ava, please.
Hi, everyone. Good morning. I also want to similarly say that with the second one, the Christmas tree was interesting because it was like there was no instruction to make it a Christmas tree, and it happened that way. But then I think once everyone kind of saw it going that way, then we all agreed, oh, this must be a Christmas tree. And so it's interesting how, that wasn't part of the instructions at all, but the group kind of saw it a certain way and then ran with it instead of saying like, does it have to be that way, or we relied on someone saying like, oh, I tried to make them berries, but like it's just, I feel like without that instruction, we were able to, we all kind of like had this vision of what it was, and we went with it without anyone telling us that it had to be that. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks. It's so interesting how things develop and then you can jump in. So indeed, my invitation is now we're going to do a breakout for 5 minutes with another person. And it's like for everybody, try to take a little bit away from this exercise and reflect on what insight can we draw, pun intended, from this in how we want to create spaces for collaboration in terms of processes, of outcome, of roles. And yeah, we're just going to take 5 minutes in a breakout. If your partner is not present, just reflect by yourself. Alicia, please. Thanks. And see you soon.
Hello.
Almost there. Almost there. It's not working?
No, for some reason, I can't open the breakouts.
Okay. Ah, there you go.
Now it's worked. Okay.
Yes, see on the other side.
I really don't know what happened here, but it's like I've opened them 5 times.
I got muted. No stress, it's all good. 10 minutes. 15, 25. Solid. Only 3 minutes later. Hello, Mutile and Alex. I don't know if you couldn't join the breakout. Yeah, there you go. Yes, thank you. Yes.
Hey, sorry.
Hey, Alex.
I joined, but I think the person is not there. So
Do you know
I
in what
jump
room
out.
room you were, Alex?
I forgot the name.
Because I can't.
The 7th.
Michelle. I think her
7?
name is Michelle.
Yeah. Let me move you somewhere else.
Okay, thank you.
And as I said, if it doesn't work out, feel free to reflect by yourself about these bits, on these things. Do we admit new people that are coming in now?
I would just, if you can talk to them, I'm trying to get people together that are alone. So if you can talk to them, then yes.
Okay. Why not?
Do you need any help with this?
No, I think it's all good.
No.
Thanks, Nakam. Hello, newcomer, Sarah, Lottie, and Claire. We just finished an exercise. People are in the breakout room, so you can just sit back, relax, sit back and relax for a couple of minutes. And when people are back, we're gonna bring it forward. We just did an exercise on collective leadership and roles and decision making. Yes, just to ground today's session so you didn't miss any essential part.
I'll close the breakout. They have 30 seconds. Can be that they start coming back.
Sounds good. Sounds good. I come back. I'm gonna wait for the others. Try to take a stretch in the meanwhile or to look around, maybe outside if you have a window close to you.
Yeah, now we're all back.
Nice. Welcome back, everyone. As usual, I like to invite people to look away from the screen after a little chat and seeing what's still alive inside of them. Maybe you want to look outside of the window. If you have a window to look outside.
Specific instructions of what to draw. It's a tree. Second round, no instructions. Draw whatever you.
I see. Ryan was updating someone else. I hope I didn't just mute you out of the blue. And welcome back. So yeah, I hope you took a little something from this conversation. We're not going to have so much time to share in this round. So I just wanted to pull some threads, which this little exercise related a lot to roles and to the how in general. How do we decide even what to do? How do we decide what to write, what to draw? In this case, I gave a boundary. It has to be a tree, but did it have to be a tree? But in the second round, for sure, there was no discussion on how are we going to go about it? While in the first round, it was already provided. So in a way, people were forced to do something that they maybe didn't want to do. And in the second, they were super free, but maybe there was a little bit of structure missing. So when we create roles and when we do decision, it's like, first of all, let's focus on what do we want to do personally and as a collective. So I just wanted to draw a little bit of attention on the how. Nothing is better than the other. It also depends a lot on personal interest and motivation and preferences. Do I want to have something super free or something very structured? So I just wanted to drop some sprinkles around this topic. As I present my screen again, because now we move, this was to open up actually both roles. Yeah, feel free to use the chat also to drop some more interesting reflections. I'm sure people appreciate it. And if it overwhelms you, you can close the chat. So we are moving now to roles. And this part for the next half an hour, we're going to focus on roles a little bit. And I just wanted to mention that usually within networks, there are 3 types of roles. One are the identity roles. These are the roles tied to people's personal histories and personalities, and it's who people are within the ecosystem, the helper, the elder, these kind of roles. Then there are the functional roles. These are task-based roles, and these are about actions and some very specific responsibilities. And it's like what people do to serve the ecosystem. Connecting, hosting, like visionary, facilitator, caring, strategizing, budget, finance. These are the kind of communication, the kind of roles that are functional. And then there's other stakeholders. These are participants connected in the larger ecosystem of supporters, partners, funders. So they're not roles connected to the group and to your network inside. I mean, they're connected, but they're not inside. And I thought for the next bit, we could just focus a little bit on, functional roles. And because usually these are the ones that we don't give enough attention to in designing the roles. So to support the kind of work that we want to do. How do we do that? And there is 2 different bits when it comes to a role. And one is responsibilities. And these are the responsibilities of the role. And they can be divided into required, what must be done, expected, what should be done, and encouraged, what could be done. But the other side of the spectrum are also the benefits. So what are the roles, rights, and perks, So what value does the person receive just by joining that specific role, So we don't just focus on what is to be done, but also we focus on what is the person receiving directly, indirectly? Is it, sometimes it can be of compensation, but that's not the only thing that people receive by participating in a role. I like to make things, I'm going to take a breath. I'm talking very fast. I usually like to make things quite practical and tangible. So we're going to speak about the roles that are present right now, the functional roles. And this is NACA, which I called you here, Network, Fito Network, Network Festival Liaison. Oh, that was okay. Marco, main facilitator, Alicia, tech support, and Marco plus Alicia. And this is a team in a way that goes beyond a specific role. And we were the session designers. So we're gonna draft a role, and how we're gonna do it is that I put here, I'm gonna put it in the chat. I'm gonna stop screen sharing. And so if your name starts from A to F, you draft Naka's role. If it starts from G to L, you draft Marco's role. If it starts from M to R, you draft Alicia's role. And if it starts from S to Z, you draft Marco plus Alicia's role. The way you can do it, again, we're gonna take just, I don't know, 4 or 5 minutes to do some. I put it in the chat. What are the 2 different things? You can do it in your own piece of paper, or if you like, we like to use whiteboards. As you saw, that's another very cool very cool collaborative tool, as you already maybe saw. And we go to page 2. And you can see these are the different, roles. And just take a few minutes to reflect about what each of us do, but focus on the roles that you've been given unless you really want to reflect on a different one. This is the exercise we're gonna do. If you have any question, you can say it out loud or put it in the chat. And otherwise, let's take a few minutes to work on it. And if the tool is hard to use, please really do it in whatever tool you want. See, people are working. And if you're, not really sure, you can also just roam what people are writing and get some inspiration. Get some inspiration here and there. So we're gonna take another 2 minutes for this. Again, I know it's a bit quick, and it's just a little impulse. Start thinking about these bits. I see the boards are moving. Nice, someone invites also to thumbs up in the specific messages. And let's slowly, yeah, whatever you're writing, get ready to wrap it up. And maybe there is, yeah, we can hear one or two voices to just see if you had a specific insight. You're like, oh, interesting. You're like, huh, I didn't think about that. If anyone feels like sharing an insight they had, feel always free also to share it in the chat. Whenever I invite one or two participants, you can also just write in the chat to hear a couple of different insights. That was a bit fast ending. Okay, step back. I slowly close the whiteboard. So maybe indeed, if you're still using it, I will send the whiteboard, by the way, so that you can take a look at all the things that you're not seeing. And we're back. So indeed, if there is one or two people that want to share any specific insight, please feel free. Otherwise, you can also write it in the group chat again. So the idea of this exercise was double, was not so much to see, did you get it right, did you get it wrong, but it was to provide a framework through which you can design roles. And on top of that, as you saw, I already gave some roles even within the exercise itself. I was saying these people focus on this, these people focus on that, and whatnot. This, even though it's within certain boundaries, and as we said, we can already always discuss who does what before. I think this is a vital part of the way we organize autonomy. How do we spread our work so that we don't all have to do everything, but we actually give to certain people the autonomy to make independent decisions on something. And in this case was the role description. And if we were part of a team, maybe we're like, hey, Caroline, can you write a role description for the facilitator? And then we get back together and we discuss it and we comment on it, you know? But then maybe you finalize it. So this is the good distribution of work that can be achieved through autonomy. And the role itself, if we are clear on what the roles can decide autonomously, this usually really creates more trust, removes tension, and makes the work feel a little bit more in the flow, because people feel a bit more, yeah, a sense of ownership over what is it that they're trying to do. And as you said, as you saw, there was also one task was to draft mine and Alicia's role. This is a team. So in this case, what happens, we can also do the same for teams. What can team decide autonomously? So for me, even though I'm the main facilitator, I could not just draft the whole session completely autonomously without checking in with Alicia. Hey, how do you feel? What do you think? You know, of course, depending on the agreements, but that's the idea, you know, what can you do autonomously and what is the autonomy of the team instead? Autonomy and authority, because they go hand in hand. Sometimes we want to give authority to certain groups to do something, you know, we empower them and we create the space where that something is being done. So I really like this component of balancing speed, trust, autonomy, authority in the way we work together. And with that, I pass it on to Alicia for a few more words.
Thank you, Marco. I wanted to bring you a framework today, and it's called the Full Circle Leadership. I love this model. It's made by Alana Irving, as you can see on the lower right corner. And I love it because I think it creates a lot of clarity, and it gives vocabulary for usual misunderstandings that happen in collaboration. I think that, first of all, if you're in a collective, a community, or a network, there's a tendency to, or a temptation to say or to think that we all can do the same, that we're all equal, and all of that. And that's actually not helpful. So that's the first thing. And then the second thing is that it gives a vocabulary to a tension that often exists in such spaces, which is between the visionary and then the people that make things happen, the operational ones. So I'll dive now a little bit more into the model. I will not go through the whole thing, but just to give you a glimpse and an idea. And if we start by the beginning, which is sense, we go through what we could think of as a project cycle, right? So when we start a project, we sense there is something that we want to do, that we want to change, we want to implement. Then we go to inquire, then envision, right? Then when we already have the information. Can you share the biggest screen, Marco? We see it small. Thank you. And then we need the vision, like what is the project that we actually want to do? We prototype it, evaluate it, operationalize it, maintain it, optimize it. And then we go again and we change, we do like a new project or a new product, or we update it, depends on what is it that we want to do. So these are different phases of the creation of a project. And linking it to roles, in each of these different phases, we need a different role to lead. So someone who is embodying different types of capabilities, capacities, and of course, some roles are fulfilled by the same person. But what is very important is that we understand that almost all projects need to go through this, and that we need different leadership energies in each of the phases of a project. So what I was saying is that also often what happens is that like a competency that is often very valuable or very valued in our society is that of the visionary, right? So we have the big myth of the visionary, and we need those people in communities, collectives, networks. We really do. It wouldn't be possible without them. But then what we often forget is that we need someone who makes things happen. And those are the operational people. And as you can see, the circle is divided into two parts. There are a few roles that are visionary: the sense, inquire, envision, and partially prototype. But then prototyping is also operational in a way. And then the purely operational ones: evaluate, operationalize, maintain, and optimize. And these different types of capacities and these different energies often create friction. And then what happens is that sometimes we don't have them balanced, or we have, what I have seen through 10 years of experience is that in communities and networks, there are a lot of visionaries, a lot of people sensing, inquiring, imagining, and it's an amazing energy. But what happens with it is we often get distracted and don't get all of that done. And for example, we might have less operational people or people fulfilling operational roles, but often like what we use, like we push them out because they cannot, if you have an operational role and you are in a very visionary space and no one is giving you this leading moment for you to bring a project to life, then it's like you don't have a place, you don't have a moment for role to actually happen. So this model, what gives us is the invitation to see that all roles are necessary and they all lead in a specific moment in time. And that's why it's important to reflect together. On the one hand, okay, what are the roles that I am usually embodying, and which are the ones that I might want to explore? And then also, what is it that I see in my network, in my collective community, and where are the roles that are not being fulfilled and that we actually need, so that we think about that we can cover all of the roles that we need to bring all of these projects that we want to life. So I will just leave you with that. Keep in mind, you need different roles, different leading energy. We need to give space for everyone. And it might feel cozy and nice to work with people that are very similar to you, but of course it's not as productive as we all want to have an impact, all of us here. To get that impact, we need people that are different from us, and this model gives us a bit of a vocabulary to understand that difference and make it productive and help us achieve that impact. So yeah, keep it going. If there is friction, might be productive friction, and if you can create space for everyone, then that's also great, and a reminder of the diversity of the roles that we need. And hopefully with this model and a few of the insights that Marco has given you on roles, it might be easier for you to implement those in your projects and network. Thank you, Marco. Over to you.
Thanks, Aline. So indeed, this connects roles with personalities, and yeah, it can also, how do we make this explicit connection? And I think Alicia shared it quite well, how it connects. We are gonna share the slides, and we are gonna, the Fito network is gonna share the recording after a little edit. So you're gonna receive it, I think, in a couple of weeks from now, but the slides, you're gonna receive them tomorrow. So as you saw, the pace of today is a bit quick, and we're now shifting to the second part, which is on decision making, about only 25 minutes. And you saw that I like to be a little cheeky and to make things practical and pragmatic. So we're gonna decide together how we wanna make the switch between the first part and the second part to a little moment of break. So we have three options. First option is a short guided stretch. Second option is a little moment of mindfulness and meditation. And the third option is a little dance with a song. So now we're gonna vote collectively. I already see a thumbs up for the first one. So this is exactly what we're gonna do. We're gonna vote. Each of us have 2 votes, not 1. You can put them on the same message, or you can spread it around. You can spread your 2 votes, or you can put them all in one. I hope it was clear. You vote by adding an emoji. So by now there is enough emoji for you to just click on one of those. And we see what collectively we would prefer as a little transition. So we give another 30 seconds or so. Check in with yourself. What do you want? What do you need? And I'm getting ready to count the votes. So we have 20.
Yeah, I think the short guided stretch seems to win by far. Yeah.
All right. So my invitation is for those that want. Obviously, it's not mandatory. You can stand up and maybe start stretching your arms as you move your neck around. And you start rolling your shoulders a little bit, and yeah, see if you can really do the full range. Maybe you want to go slower and you want to deepen your breath. Yeah, maybe you want to make a sound. Moving your hips a little bit. Going to the ground as much as you can, stretching your legs. And now a few seconds to do whatever stretch you want right now, or a little shake. Shaking your arms and your legs. Maybe do little jumps. Yeah. Slowly reapproaching the screen whenever you feel ready. Turning on your camera again, if you're comfortable with that, so we see some faces. Yes. So we have the last 30 minutes. I hope we feel a little bit more stretched and not energetically. And I share my screen once again. Decision making. So we did this. One core part of decision making is understand your tools. What kind of tool are you using when making decisions in your group? What we did was the first one. We did democracy. This is a moment in which each individual gets more than one vote. And they allocate votes and preferences among different options. Then there is all these other tools. My intuition says that we're not gonna go into depth right now, and you will receive a video that explains them more in depth. So that is something you can have and look in your own time tomorrow and in the follow-up email. But the idea is that there is a lot of different methods to use. My favorite, that is actually not here, is temperature checks. This is actually my favorite. Temperature check is a very quick one where you can see, maybe I stop sharing my screen so you can all see me. Especially online, it's super good. It's like this. Temperature check is a very quick indication of, how is it going? And we can do a little try out. Where is your energy at? From here, very high, to here, very low. And here, everything in the middle. I see some people, nice. So this is a way you can just check, hey, how do we feel about that? Are we super in or are we really against? And you can very quickly check how people feel about something. Or you can give different options. Option A, option B, to just do a quick assessment of how people feel about a certain thing. But this is a tool. This is a tool of decision making. And I didn't share what is the core concept of making decisions together. And this is called diverging and converging. Who has heard of it? Let's see. Have you heard of diverging and converging? I see some hands. There you go. No, yes. So diverging and converging. Diverging is when you create choices in your group. You create possibilities. You start generating possible solutions. Converging is when you choose. Is when you choose something with your team. You make choices. You select and you prioritize. Usually we don't do this. Usually there is like a decision to be made, and a person says, oh, we can do this. And then we start either everybody's silence, or we go directly dive deeper into that option without first having created option to choose from. And in this previous exercise, there is some of this, especially 1, 2, for all, is that decision-making tool where you do both at the same time. You diverge first, and then we converge. Democracy, what we did only converging, because I provided the option, and then we chose together. So I wanted to share a few words about designing for decision-making. I'm gonna try to slow down to not overwhelm myself and you. So the first thing I wanted to share is around inclusive and power-aware decision-making. My suggestion is already to think when you create designing decision-making tools and practices that you already start reflecting on what different format can I use. Some people, they like to share in big groups. Some others in smaller groups. Some others prefer to write things down. And often people need a few seconds before they give their opinion. So saying, hey, for the next minute, we just think about it, and then we share in whichever format you provide as a facilitator. This is very important, is creating time for dissent. So for disagreeing, and in groups, even though sometimes it's scary, we actually want disagreement. We want disagreement to get better, to make things that are more creative, to make things that are considering all the different parts. If we all agree, sometimes it's also fine, of course. But if we always all agree, maybe we want to think about, do we really agree? And maybe people are silent. So how do we invite the margins? A way to do so, actually, I'm going to share it here, is by asking, is there somebody here with a very different opinion or very different experience? Just by asking this question, people that are feeling differently are going to feel called in to share. And the last bit is making sure you're all acting from the same information. A lot of time when we make a decision, everybody has pieces of information. So the first thing I always do before a decision making is asking, what fact do we know before we even start thinking about possibilities and solution? What fact do we all need? So you first drop all this info and then you can start making a decision. So this is it for the inclusive decision making. Maybe, take a couple of seconds to let it land. If you're writing a note or something, maybe it's not so interesting. Also, like, oh, this is interesting. Maybe it's not super interesting. I don't know. So the second part relates to the thing itself, and it's the clarity of decision space. What is being decided and how? First of all, whenever you do something, it's like, what is the intention? Are we diverging or are we converging, basically? Are we sharing how we feel about certain things? Are we generating or are we deciding? Usually all these stages are all mixed up, And by making it clear, we first do this, then this, then it usually makes it a lot clearer. Be clear what process and decision-making tool that you're using so that participants know and they're like, okay, this is what's going to happen. And finally, role clarity. Who decides, who advises, and who is informed? Now I'm sharing this, I'm now wondering if it's a bit a lot of different bits. So I want to check the chat. I don't know if there's something in the chat. If there is any question as well, please feel free to ask it. As we take another moment to let this land. Yes, I put the slide back up.
How can you encourage people to voice dissident voices if they might be afraid to be sort of the only one objecting, and or if there's not enough psychological safety in the culture?
Well, I think that's already something you mentioned. Indeed, is like, how do we create that first as a basis so that then people feel free to disagree, They know that they can. So this is the pre-work. Like, safety in the group is a precondition for effective decision-making. And if there is no trust, maybe we first need to get to know each other a little bit, You first need to see how safe is it to disagree, and then starting slowly. Another thing is using writing. By writing, that can also somehow already say, hey, we write all the different ideas and then they're there, so there is already disagreement in the space potentially through the different notes. And yeah. And what I asked, usually just the question, is there somebody that thinks about it very differently? This question opens worlds. This question opens worlds. Who here has a very different experience and opinion? Yes, thank you. That's a nice way also to phrase it. Okay, I slowly then move forward. I hope like some questions are here. I'm not sure. Yes. So some things are going to be answered later. So the last thing that I wanted to share is this ladder of participation. And this is where you can combine how you want your involvement to be with whatever is being decided. So up here is I want to decide. Then you go down and you say, I want to co-decide. You go down and you say, I want to be consulted. You go down and you say, I want to be informed. Then it's just instructed, symbolic tokenism, and decoration. Sometimes just instructed is also okay. I say, I just want to be instructed on this. And having this ladder of participation of how you would like to be involved in decision making, yeah, sometimes it's good to be aware for yourself. Or sometimes you want something, but you have to do something else. And that's when there is a little tension and you need to address that tension within your group. So the last exercise that I want to invite us to do is by yourself to think of a group you're part of. And then within this group, think where you position yourself on the ladder. I put 5 different options. I hope for all of you, at least a couple of them relates. And here is like decide, co-decide, be consulted, informed, or not involved in the decision. And just take a few minutes to go through these different options and think for yourself where on the participation ladder you want to be there. Yes. Yes, thank you, Christine. I really appreciate your invitation. I completely forgot about putting the source. It's indeed Roger's Heart, ladder of participation. So before you receive the slide, I will make sure to add the source. Thanks for the gentle call out. Yes. So we take a couple of minutes for you to position yourself. So let's take one last minute. Maybe you have like 1 or 2 that you're working on. That's fine. Again, it's just a little input. Last few seconds. Yeah. And slowly wrap it up. And stop sharing for a second. To me, this ladder of participation and thinking about it brings some clarity a little bit over how do I want to be involved in this decision, and maybe connects to the role I want to have, saying, I don't want to know anything about this, then it means I need to have a certain role and not another. Another one would be, would you wish to be involved, but for some reason you're just in the instructed role? So then what needs to change in order for you to be more involved in your organization? And why do you want to be involved in that decision? Is it because you really want to, you like it? Is it maybe for control, Is it because there is not enough trust, So to also dive a little deeper into, if I want to be involved in this because I don't trust this or these people, or maybe it's your thing, and maybe it's about you not trusting in general. So it can reveal also some interesting bits. So we're moving toward the end of our session. I see it's almost 4:20, and I have one last thing to say before I give it to Alicia and then to Naka. But before, for one last time, maybe we can look away from the screen and go for one last stretch and shake it off or continue to let the information land. Yeah. So the last thing that I want to say, and it's a bit silly, but in my experience with groups, is the one that makes the most change. Sometimes you seem to all agree already, but no one is saying, okay, then it seems like we're all agreeing, Like things are just there and it's a bit like stuck. So as a person, how can we facilitate the meta conversation? So when we're ready to move on, for example, or like when it's just about, hey, let's start, or just saying, hey, it seems that we are agreeing. Can we make a decision? These are the meta conversation that often it makes the group feel like we're like stuck in between phases, and literally just by saying, hey, it seems that we're ready, just this one is like, yes, we are ready, thank you, and makes people feel yes. So facilitating the meta conversation with just a couple of words in between phases makes a huge effect. And with that was my part. And I pass it on to Alicia.
Thank you so much, Marco, for opening those boxes and giving us a glimpse of facilitation, specifically around roles and decision making. I just wanted to, someone was asking in the chat about follow-ups. I'll get to that in just a second. I just wanted to highlight that this session is being offered by Common Ground, the collective to which Marco and I are a part of. I've also seen Tim around, also a collaborator. And we support leaders, grow purposeful businesses, networks, and communities. Collectives, like all of that is where we stem from. We're the former Greater Than, for those of you that know us, or like a part of it, or a spin-off, however you want to call it. And that stemmed before that from We Share and Inspiral. So I would say that networks, communities, and collectives are our GEM, we are a part consultancy, but also a post-growth organizing lab. As you see, we're that's what we do. We're nerds about how we come together and get to our goals and get to our impact. How do we work together? That's what we dedicate our lives to. And I want to invite you to an experiment about specifically that. Again, and also I think that characterizes us is that we're very we want to be in communication. We are very aware, I think, of our role in the ecosystem, and we want to keep fostering it and be in touch with it, because we believe really that all thriving is mutual. So I hope that all that was shared today can support you and your organization. How to continue this journey. So there is another session. We're doing 2 more in this track. The next one is No Hierarchy Here with Fran and David on June 10th. So if you want to keep learning about how to organize, this is definitely a track to do so. And Fran and David will guide you through more elements of power and accountability in collectives, right? After this, so beyond that, we have these follow-ups that you were asking for beforehand. I'm also putting the possibilities in the chat so that you have the direct links. We have a founder money lab, which explores, is going to be with Ashish, that explores your relationship with money and how it relates to what you actually want to build, what you want to bring in the world. Then here on the right, you can see I just gave a glimpse on the full circle leadership model, but it's a very simple model. That's what I love about it, but there's a lot to it. So there are the characteristics of each of the leadership styles, how you work with people similar to you, how you work with people contrary to you, but also what is the shadow of every of those elements and how you work with it. So if you want to explore more, join us on that course. And finally, like Marco was giving now, as we mentioned, like opening boxes about facilitation, and he's giving a course to dive deeper into all of those and many more elements about facilitation. You can connect with us when you get the slides. You will get also our links to the LinkedIn, also to Common Grounds, as I mentioned, our collective. And then here we get to the invitation. This is very important. Now you have received a few inputs, and the invitation is you get to practice them. Yeah, so none of this, makes sense if we don't practice it, if we don't try it out, if we don't learn. So we see ourselves as a living lab of alternative post-growth organizing. And my assumption is that all of you present here are that as well. So we want to invite you to an experimental container, we call it. It's just an experimental container because we want to invite you to do an experiment in that. This means that we meet once more, and this might be sync or async. We will let you know for a kickoff in which we all decide, okay, what am I going to apply? And then we do in-between check-ins. Might be all together in a Slack channel so we can support each other as well. You might get tips from us, and we'll finalize with a session to gather learnings. Yeah, and that is the question. Bring at least one learning from this one session you've just been to your organization, network, and collective. Try it out and then see what you learn from it. And we would like to collect your stories and then give them back to the ecosystem. So that's the idea. I hope it's more or less clear. If you're interested, it's not clear, but it sounds good, whatever, drop me an email. That's how you are part of this experimental container, and we will let you know more. It's alicia@commonground.now. I'm going to write it in the chat, and we will, of course, love to see you there and to continue learning from each other, seeing how you're applying all of this. What is that you are learning, and keep feeding each other, and like this, thriving together. So that's our goal. So yeah, if you want to participate, alicia@commonground.now. And with this, I'll give it over back to Naka to close the session. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Alicia, and thank you, Marco, for such an insightful session that has showed us different ways and approaches to distributed roles and collaborative decision making. And I'm sure most everyone is going to begin to apply this in their networks for collective organizations and to create clearer structures that support participation, that supports accountability, that supports autonomy and effective collaboration. So I'm just going to quickly round off this session and tell you that we have quite interesting sessions lined up, and I've dropped them in chat for tomorrow and the next one for the next week. So you can just go through all of that. And if you're interested in joining anyone, please feel free to register for them. We also encourage you to contribute to the sustainability of the festival. Give in your capacity, give, don't overstretch yourself, give at your comfort zone to the sustainability of the festival. For the whole festival programs, I've also dropped in chat the link. And so we're just going to do one quick photo ritual before we say goodbye. So at this point, I encourage everyone to turn on your videos again and unblur your background. Just for this last minute, just turn on your videos, unblur your backgrounds if you have your background blurred. And I would ask each and every one of us to just pick someone and just focus your attention on that one person. Just pick anyone you like and just focus your attention on them. Just look at them for a second. What are you noticing? Is it their hairstyle? Is it the lovely smile? Is it the background? Is it the images in their background? What is it? So if you have done that, I'll just like you to drop it in chat. Who is that one person you picked out of the crowd? And what stood out for you? What did you notice about them? What did you like about them? Just keep the messages coming in. The name of the person you picked and what you noticed about them. For me, I am picking Marco for a reason because of his hairstyle. I love your hairstyle. I hope I can grow mine that way too. So just pick someone. Nadia, you're picking Gusape, hey? The smile and the interesting graph in the background. Nice. Stephanie is picking Tony. The lovely bookshelf behind Tony. Yeah, I noticed that too. Tim, you're picking on Fernanda and you love the artwork in her background. Nice. That's lovely. Alina, you're picking on Abdurrahman. Oh, the lovely orange wall. Yeah, that can go unnoticed. Nice, lovely. Okay, thank you, everyone. So we'll just do one last thing. I would like us to all unmute and say thank you and bye-bye in your local language, wherever you're joining us from. In 3, 2, 1, and go. Thank you.
Maraming salamat po.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Merci beaucoup.